Zion Williamson entered the NBA as a generational talent, dubbed the next LeBron James and the savior of the Pelicans. But injuries, fitness struggles, and whispers of questionable dedication have turned his promising career into a stunning disappointment. But just how did the once beloved prodigy fall from grace so fast? This is how to kill an NBA career. How did this beloved prodigy fall so far, so fast? Zion Williamson's basketball journey started with an impact that few players ever achieved. As a high schooler, Zion became a viral sensation thanks to highlight mixtapes showcasing his jaw-dropping dunks, unmatched speed, and overwhelming dominance against his peers. His physical gifts were extraordinary. Standing at 6'6" and weighing over 280 pounds, he moved like a guard but dominated like a big man. Averaging 36 points and 11 rebounds per game in high school, he quickly earned a reputation as one of the most exciting young players in the sport. When Zion joined Duke University, the buzz surrounding him skyrocketed. In his freshman year, he averaged an impressive 22 points per game while shooting a ridiculous 68% from the field. His performances weren't just about the numbers, they were about how he played the game. He broke records such as earning the highest player efficiency rating, PR, in college basketball history and became the first freshman to win the ACC Player of the Year award. From fast break dunks to explosive blocks, Zion turned every game into a spectacle. His presence wasn't just felt on the court, it electrified college basketball fans across the world. Zion's transition to the NBA was nothing short of historic. In the 2019 NBA Draft, the New Orleans Pelicans selected him with the first overall pick.
With the first pick in the 2019 NBA Draft, the New Orleans Pelicans select Zion Williamson from Duke University.
For a franchise still recovering from losing superstar Anthony Davis, Zion was seen as a savior, a player who could bring championship aspirations to New Orleans. The hype wasn't just limited to local fans. Across the league, analysts and commentators were already comparing Zion to some of basketball's greatest names, from LeBron James to Charles Barkley. The expectations weren't just high, they were astronomical. Zion wasn't only expected to dominate on the court, but to be the face of the league's next generation. His unique combination of power, speed, and athleticism made people believe he was capable of redefining the forward position. Fans imagined highlight reels, playoff battles, and championship banners, while brands lined up with lucrative endorsement deals to cash in on his marketability. As Zion entered the NBA, the media machine around him was relentless. Coverage of his games and workouts was constant. Whether it was his preseason appearances or moments of brilliance in college, the sports world couldn't get enough of him. Articles and TV segments debated if Zion could live up to or even surpass the impact of legends like LeBron James. Social media posts celebrated his incredible dunks and sheer physical dominance. Fans weren't just excited, they were emotionally invested in Zion's success. He was the reason arenas sold out and television ratings surged when he played. The belief was that Zion wouldn't just be great, he'd redefine greatness. Yet this intense spotlight came with immense pressure. Every small setback, injury, or performance was magnified. And as the years unfolded, it became clear that the lofty expectations surrounding Zion were both a blessing and a curse. Zion Williamson's career has been defined as much by his absence as by his presence on the court. Since entering the NBA, Zion has struggled to stay healthy, missing over 60% of the games he was eligible to play. His list of injuries includes a torn meniscus during his rookie year, recurring hamstring issues, and persistent foot problems. Each of these setbacks has not only disrupted his career, but also the hopes of the New Orleans Pelicans, who built their team around him as their franchise star. These injuries have robbed Zion of the chance to build momentum. In basketball, rhythm and consistency are crucial, but Zion's constant time off has made it difficult for him to achieve either. For the Pelicans, his injuries have thrown team chemistry into chaos, forcing other players like Brandon Ingram and CJ McCollum to carry the load without their star player. The lack of Zion's availability has also hurt the team's long-term planning, as it's hard to develop strategies around a player who isn't consistently on the court. Another significant issue that has compounded Zion's struggles is his weight and conditioning. Entering the NBA at around 285 pounds, he was one of the heaviest players in the league, despite being just 6'6". While his size and strength are key parts of his game, they also put tremendous pressure on his knees, feet, and other joints, increasing his risk of injury. Critics, including fans and analysts, have been vocal about his need to improve his fitness. Stephen A. Smith once remarked that Zion looked out of shape and even compared him to someone who had just left a buffet. The constant scrutiny over his weight has added to the narrative that Zion lacks discipline, with some questioning whether he's fully committed to maintaining his physical condition. Fans have expressed frustration, often pointing out how other stars, like LeBron James, have prioritized fitness to extend their careers and remain dominant. Despite having access to world-class trainers, nutritionists, and medical staff, Zion's struggles with fitness have persisted. Reports of weight gain during injury recoveries have further damaged his reputation, with fans wondering if he's putting in the necessary effort to stay in shape. Zion's career seems trapped in a frustrating pattern. He often starts a season strong, showing flashes of his incredible talent and reminding fans why he was such a hyped prospect. However, after just a few weeks or months, injuries strike again. He's forced to sit out, and by the time he returns, he appears out of shape and struggles to regain his form. This cycle has not only frustrated fans, but also his teammates, who have had to adjust to playing without him time and time again. The Pelicans, once seen as a rising team with Zion at the center, have struggled to achieve consistency because their star player is so often unavailable. Zion Williamson's talent is undeniable, and when he's on the court, he has shown flashes of being one of the most dominant players in the NBA. During his second season, Zion was selected as an all-star, averaging an impressive 27 points per game on over 60% shooting. His unique combination of size, strength, and agility made him a nightmare for defenders, and he seemed poised to become one of the league's next great superstars. Fans were treated to highlight reel moments, such as his explosive dunks, unstoppable drives to the basket, and even a stretch of 25 consecutive games, scoring at least 20 points while shooting over 50%. These performances reminded everyone why Zion was so highly hyped coming out of Duke. For a brief time, it felt like the sky was the limit. However, these brilliant moments are overshadowed by Zion's limited availability, playing only 45% of games since his debut. His career has been more about what-ifs than consistent success. While his performances have been exciting, they fall short of expectations when considering how infrequently he has been able to deliver them. At this point in his career, Zion's achievements pale in comparison to other NBA stars who entered the league with similar hype. Luka Doncic, drafted just a year before Zion, has already made multiple All-NBA teams and led the Dallas Mavericks deep into the playoffs. LeBron James, by his fourth year, had taken the Cleveland Cavaliers to the NBA Finals, while Kevin Durant had reached the finals with the Oklahoma City Thunder by his fifth season. Zion, on the other hand, has yet to play in a single playoff game. Despite being hailed as a generational talent, his contributions have been sporadic and his impact on the Pelicans' success minimal. The comparisons to these players highlight how far Zion has fallen short of the immense expectations placed on him when he entered the league. For fans and analysts, Zion's career trajectory has been a source of deep disappointment. Once seen as the future face of the NBA, his narrative has shifted dramatically. What was once excitement over his potential has turned into frustration over his lack of discipline, his inability to stay healthy, and his perceived lack of commitment to the game. The media, once Zion's biggest cheerleader, has become increasingly critical. Analysts like Stephen A. Smith and JJ Redick have openly questioned Zion's dedication to the sport and his fitness. Fans too have voiced their dissatisfaction, often comparing him unfavorably to players who have achieved more with less hype. Zion Williamson was expected to be the cornerstone of the New Orleans Pelicans, a franchise savior capable of leading the team to greatness. Instead, his inconsistent availability has left the Pelicans in a perpetual state of flux. Zion's injuries, which have caused him to miss more games than he's played, have forced players like Brandon Ingram and CJ McCollum to carry disproportionate loads. The team's inability to rely on their supposed superstar has disrupted chemistry and long-term planning, leaving them struggling to remain competitive in the Western Conference. Off the court, Zion's personal life has become an equally troubling issue. His involvement with two baby mamas has drawn significant attention, with both women airing their grievances publicly on social media. One of the mothers, an adult film actress, accused Zion of being dishonest and not fulfilling promises to support her and their child. The second woman, who also shares a child with Zion, expressed frustrations about his lack of responsibility and commitment to fatherhood. These issues have created a messy public narrative, undermining his credibility as a role model and adding unnecessary distractions to his already challenging career. Adding to the controversy, allegations surfaced that Zion was texting a high school girl, with rumors suggesting he might have even been dating her. While these claims remain unverified, the very implication of such behavior has raised serious concerns about his judgment and maturity. These types of allegations, whether true or not, create significant reputational damage, making it harder for Zion to focus on rebuilding trust with fans, teammates, and the organization. Additionally, Zion's attempt to shoot his shot at Instagram model Sydney Thomas added yet another layer to his off-court drama. In a now infamous exchange, Zion commented under one of her pictures saying, "Check your DM shortly." Sydney publicly responded, "Huh? Who are you calling shortly? I'm good. Enjoy your recovery," effectively rejecting him. While the post itself was later flagged as potentially fake by some sources, it still became a viral moment, adding to the growing perception that Zion struggles to maintain professionalism and respectability in his interactions. These off-court issues, coupled with his detachment from the team, have taken a toll on Zion's reputation. When the Pelicans acquired CJ McCollum, it was expected that Zion would welcome the veteran player to the roster and build a strong partnership. Instead, it was revealed that Zion didn't even contact McCollum after the trade, drawing sharp criticism from former teammate JJ Redick, who labeled him a detached teammate. For Zion Williamson, the time has come to confront the challenges that have derailed his career. Injuries, inconsistent fitness, and questions about his dedication have plagued him since entering the NBA. To turn things around, Zion must acknowledge these issues head on. He can no longer rely solely on his raw talent. It's clear that staying at the top level requires commitment and discipline. This means accepting responsibility for his current situation. Blaming bad luck or external factors won't help him progress. Zion needs to embrace the hard truth that his weight, conditioning, and off-court habits have played a major role in his setbacks. Recognizing these realities is the first step toward change. To rebuild his career, Zion must focus on a disciplined training and recovery plan. This includes hiring experienced trainers and nutritionists to create a fitness program tailored to his needs. Consistency is key. Zion can no longer afford to go through cycles of getting in shape during the offseason, only to regress when the regular season begins. Reconnecting with his team is another critical step. Strong relationships with teammates and coaches can foster trust and improve chemistry on and off the court. Zion needs to show his commitment by actively engaging with the Pelicans organization, whether it's attending team meetings, supporting teammates during games, or simply being present.
With the first pick in the 2019 NBA Draft, the New Orleans Pelicans select Zion Williamson from Duke University.
Zion Williamson entered the NBA as one of the most hyped prospects in basketball history. From his jaw-dropping performances at Duke to comparisons with legends like Charles Barkley, Zion was billed as a once-in-a-generation talent. His explosive dunks, incredible athleticism, and unique physicality captivated fans and analysts alike, with many predicting he would redefine the NBA landscape. The media spotlight amplified his rise, crowning him as the league's next superstar before he even played an NBA game. Zion wasn't just seen as a great player in the making, he was expected to become the face of the league.
This dude, because of his mass, his girth, his power, he got a handle and can pass and all of that other stuff. But the fact that he has the athleticism, the agilities, and the ability that he has at 6'7", 280 pounds, he is an elevated version of Charles Barkley. My God.
Zion's talent was undeniable when he finally took the court. During the 2020-2021 season, he showcased why he was so highly regarded, earning All-Star honors and averaging 27 points per game with remarkable efficiency. His ability to dominate the paint and his electrifying highlight reel plays lived up to the immense expectations, at least temporarily. Fans marveled at his combination of size, speed, and skill, calling him a must-watch TV.
It's your 23rd consecutive game with 20 points or more. Only Shaq has more in the entire history of the NBA. Have you had any chance to think about how you're redefining the role of big men in the NBA with all of your point forward skills?
I haven't put much thought into it, but like I'm gonna say this, and I say it all the time. My stepdad trained me to be a point guard, to facilitate the game. But it's an honor to be in those categories. My main focus right now is to help my team win.
However, this initial burst of success has been difficult to sustain, with Zion struggling to maintain the consistency required of a true franchise cornerstone. And for every moment of brilliance, Zion's career has been overshadowed by an all too familiar pattern. He starts seasons in great form, only to be sidelined by injuries and leave fans wondering what could have been. This repeated cycle has turned Zion's career into one of the NBA's biggest what-ifs. In his 6 years with the New Orleans Pelicans, Zion has played only 190 games while missing 227, failing to participate in more than half of his team's games.
It's just, what's the process been like for you, just trying to get back on the court and put yourself in a position to join your team on the court?
It's been frustrating, not gonna lie to you. It's been very frustrating. Not being able to play sucks, but I mean, things gotten better. Things gotten a lot better.
The constant start-stop nature of Zion's career has been a source of frustration for fans and the Pelicans organization. Each offseason, reports emerge of Zion looking healthier and more prepared than ever. Yet, within weeks of the season starting, injuries or conditioning concerns derail his progress. His scoring average, once a bright spot, has steadily declined, from 27 points per game during his All-Star season to just 22 in recent years. Zion Williamson's NBA career has been defined as much by his time on the sidelines as by his explosive performances on the court. Since being drafted, Zion has played in only 190 games while missing 227, a staggering statistic that underscores his struggles to stay healthy. These persistent injuries have ranged from foot issues to hamstring strains, each one halting his momentum and leaving fans and the New Orleans Pelicans in a state of frustration. The toll on his career trajectory is undeniable, as every missed game not only limits his development but also hinders the Pelicans' ability to build a cohesive and competitive team around him. For a franchise that invested its future in Zion, his lack of availability has been a significant blow. The Pelicans' plans to contend for playoff success hinge on their star player, but his frequent absences disrupt team chemistry and leave them scrambling to adjust. Fans who once viewed Zion as the savior of the franchise are now questioning whether he can ever be the reliable leader the team so desperately needs.
Zion is the true definition of false hope. Every single season you come in, you're like, oh yeah, Zion, he's in the best shape of his life. Zion, he's ready. And he always gives you false hope within that short span that he plays games. If I'm the Pelicans, I'm considering trading Zion Williamson.
His value is non-existent right now.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Okay, well, at least try to move him, because if you think that Zion is going to be the guy that's going to take you to the promised land, you're mistaken.
A major factor often cited in Zion's injury struggles is his unique blend of size and athleticism. At 6'6" and around 285 pounds, Zion's combination of explosive power and agility is unprecedented in the NBA. However, this same physicality has raised concerns about his durability. The wear and tear of an NBA season, combined with the pressure Zion's size places on his joints, makes it increasingly difficult for him to stay on the court. Criticism from analysts and fans alike has frequently centered on Zion's weight and conditioning. While there have been reports of him working to improve his fitness during the offseason, the results have been inconsistent. Many have pointed out that without a sustained commitment to staying in peak condition, Zion's career risks being perpetually derailed by injuries. Even his most loyal supporters acknowledge that his potential greatness hinges on his ability to maintain his body and reduce the risk of recurring setbacks. Zion's inability to stay healthy and in shape has significantly impacted his potential. During his All-Star season, he showed glimpses of the player many believed he could be, an unstoppable force capable of dominating the game. However, the repeated interruptions caused by injuries and conditioning issues have prevented him from building on that early success. The New Orleans Pelicans drafted Zion Williamson with the hope that he would transform their franchise into a perennial contender. However, Zion's frequent absences have left the team struggling to realize its potential. Throughout his career, Zion has missed more games than he's played, forcing the Pelicans to continually adapt to life without their star player. In Zion's absence, players like Brandon Ingram and CJ McCollum have shouldered the burden of leading the team. While both have risen to the occasion at times, neither can fully replicate the impact that a healthy Zion brings to the court. This reliance on Plan B strategies has left the Pelicans unable to establish a consistent identity or compete at the highest levels. The lack of their cornerstone player has turned what could have been a playoff contending team into one constantly fighting to stay afloat in the competitive Western Conference. Zion's inconsistent availability has created significant challenges for the Pelicans in building team chemistry and executing long-term plans. Each time Zion returns from an injury, the team has to adjust its strategy and rotations, disrupting the flow and cohesion that are crucial for sustained success. This constant state of flux makes it nearly impossible for the Pelicans to establish a rhythm or play to their full potential. Specific examples illustrate how Zion's absence has hurt the Pelicans in key moments. During the 2022-23 season, the team showed flashes of brilliance, but faltered late in the year as Zion's injuries kept him sidelined. Without their franchise player, the Pelicans struggled to find a reliable offensive focal point, ultimately missing the opportunity to make a deep playoff run. For Pelicans fans, Zion's absences have been a source of deep frustration. Drafted with the promise of becoming the team's savior, Zion was expected to bring excitement, wins, and relevance to a small market franchise. Instead, fans have endured years of inconsistency, watching their team struggle to compete without the star power they were promised.
Everybody wants Zion to get in shape except Zion. Everybody wants Zion to have discipline except Zion. So how can I want something? How can the team want something more for him than he wants it for himself? Right. That's why they put in his contract. Look how they got in his contract that he has to hit weight clauses because they know him. That's not the team fault. It ain't got nothing to do with New Orleans. That's Zion and here's no discipline ass. That's all that comes down to, Ocho. Discipline requires you to do your very best when no one else is watching.
Social media and fan forums are filled with expressions of disappointment, with many questioning whether Zion is truly committed to the game. The once electric anticipation surrounding his career has dimmed, replaced by skepticism and doubt. For a franchise already battling the challenges of being in a smaller market, Zion's struggles have been an especially bitter pill to swallow.
We saw some footage of Zion Williamson that caught your guys' attention, and I'd like to see it now. So this is Zion warming up. We don't have him. It could be another 2-3 weeks, but Chuck, you had a visceral reaction to this.
Looked like me and Shaq had a baby.
Zion Williamson's struggles aren't just a personal or team issue, they reflect broader challenges facing the NBA. The frequent absence of star players due to injuries or load management has become a recurring theme, frustrating fans and diminishing the overall competitiveness of the league. Players sitting out games, especially high-profile matchups, has led to complaints that the regular season lacks the intensity and stakes that once defined the NBA. Zion's career exemplifies this trend. Despite being one of the most marketable young players, his limited availability has hindered the Pelicans' success and contributed to a growing perception that today's NBA prioritizes caution and comfort over effort and competition. Fans often cite players like Zion as emblematic of an era where elite athletes are seen more on highlight reels and advertisements than on the court. This in turn erodes the connection between the league and its audience, as the product feels increasingly detached from its core promise, showcasing the best basketball in the world.
If there's anything I could change about the league to make it better, probably just all the guys sitting resting. That's the only thing I probably don't like. Just play, man. If you 80%, you got to play. I don't like all the sitting, missing games and stuff. Like these people might have enough money to come to one game, you know what I'm saying? And that might be the game they come to and then you sitting out, you know what I'm saying? So I take pride in trying to play every game because I don't know, it might be one fan that has never seen me play and I'm trying to play. So that's the only thing I don't like, guys just sitting out.
Zion's situation also emphasizes the unique challenges faced by small market teams like the New Orleans Pelicans. Unlike teams in major markets such as Los Angeles or New York, small market franchises rely heavily on their marquee players to draw attention and build fan loyalty. When those players are unavailable, it's not just the team that suffers, it's the entire community of fans. For the Pelicans, Zion was expected to be the cornerstone of their franchise, driving ticket sales, TV viewership, and merchandise revenue. His absences have disrupted those expectations, leaving the team struggling to maintain relevance in a crowded sports landscape. Small market teams have less margin for error, and Zion's inability to stay healthy has magnified the difficulties of competing with larger market franchises that can more easily attract talent and resources. The absence of marquee players like Zion Williamson directly impacts the NBA's ratings and popularity. Fans tune in to watch superstars, and when those players are frequently unavailable, interest in the league naturally declines. Nationally televised games featuring the Pelicans, for instance, often underperform in ratings because viewers know Zion is unlikely to play. This phenomenon isn't limited to Zion. Load management and injury-related absences across the league have created a sense of unpredictability that frustrates fans. The NBA has built its brand around star power, and when those stars don't take the court, it undermines the league's reputation as a premier entertainment product. Declining ratings and fan engagement are clear indicators that this issue is affecting the league's bottom line. Fans are less willing to invest time and money in a product that feels inconsistent or uncompetitive. To regain their trust, the NBA must address these challenges, encouraging players to prioritize availability and effort while finding ways to protect their health without compromising the integrity of the game.
I think the league's got to clean it up. I think if we're going to do load management games, it's got to be home games, because those are 41 games that fans get to see. You can't do it on the road game. You got to make sure on the road you got to play those games.
How many games?
In the NBA's earlier days, players like Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, and Michael Jordan set the standard for dedication and resilience. These legends face grueling schedules, less advanced medical care, and lower salaries compared to today's stars. Yet their commitment to the game never wavered. Magic battled through injuries to lead the Lakers to multiple championships, while Bird played through chronic back pain, leaving everything on the court for the Boston Celtics. Michael Jordan famously played the flu game during the 1997 NBA Finals, demonstrating unparalleled mental and physical toughness. These players understood their roles not just as athletes, but as ambassadors for the league. They recognized that consistent effort and availability were critical to their team's success and the growth of the NBA as a whole. Their unwavering dedication earned them the respect of fans and peers alike, cementing their legacies as some of the greatest to ever play the game. In contrast, Zion Williamson's career so far has been marked by inconsistency. His frequent absences due to injuries and conditioning issues stand in stark opposition to the relentless effort displayed by players of past eras. While Zion has shown flashes of brilliance, his inability to consistently stay on the court has prevented him from achieving the same level of impact as his predecessors. Zion Williamson still has the potential to change the narrative of his career. To do so, he must adopt the discipline, fitness, and dedication that defined past greats. Players like Jordan and Kobe Bryant were known for their relentless work ethics, spending countless hours honing their skills and maintaining peak physical condition. Zion can take inspiration from their commitment to excellence, understanding that talent alone is not enough to achieve lasting success. Improving his conditioning and taking proactive measures to prevent injuries should be top priorities. By focusing on long-term health and fitness, Zion can ensure he remains available for his team, contributing to their success and fulfilling his potential as a franchise player. To ensure players like Zion Williamson stay on the court, the NBA must adopt stricter fitness and injury management standards. Teams should implement rigorous offseason conditioning programs, monitored closely to maintain player health and readiness. Zion's unique build and athleticism demand a tailored approach to prevent recurring injuries. The league can also introduce periodic evaluations to ensure players meet fitness benchmarks throughout the season, creating a culture of accountability that prioritizes long-term availability. For Zion, consistent on-court performance is the key to regaining the trust of fans. Regular engagement with supporters through transparent communication about his progress and dedication to improving can also help repair his image. Players in similar situations should commit to showing effort and passion, demonstrating that they value the loyalty and expectations of their fan bases. By putting the game first, they can reconnect with the audiences who have supported them through ups and downs. Small market teams like the New Orleans Pelicans often face unique challenges in retaining fan interest when stars like Zion are unavailable. To combat this, the NBA should amplify promotion for these teams, highlighting their competitive storylines and emerging players. Nationally televised games and increased marketing efforts focused on small market franchises can help maintain engagement, even in the absence of marquee players. Building a deeper connection between local communities and their teams is also crucial for sustained interest. Zion Williamson's career mirrors the NBA's modern struggles, from persistent injuries and unmet expectations to eroding fan trust and the challenges of small market teams. These issues underscore the urgent need for accountability, improved fitness standards, and a deeper focus on the game's core values. Without meaningful change, the disconnect between players, teams, and fans will only grow. Rebuilding the NBA's reputation as a competitive and captivating league demands a united effort from all involved. But Despite all this, one question remains. Can Zion and the NBA overcome these hurdles, or will they continue to let down the fans who have built the foundation of the game? Let us know down below. And if you enjoyed this video, then make sure to watch our next one shown on screen.